Okay, so I'll call the meeting to order. Looks like we have quorum. Okay, so do we just move on to roll call, right?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and roll call. Okay. Commissioner Campisi?
Here.
Commissioner Chabot? Here. Commissioner Cho?
Here.
Commissioner Edwards?
Here.
Commissioner Garcia?
Here.
Commissioner Huynh?
Here.
Commissioner Lewin?
Here.
And Commissioner Mao?
Here.
Commissioner Oskan?
Here.
Commissioner Sorgan?
Here.
Commissioner Tagboy?
Here.
Vice Chair Ramcharan?
Here.
And Chair Reeds?
Here.
And I just want to mention the absence of Commissioners Wong and Vice, and we do have a quorum.
Great, so with that, we'll do the salute to the flag. Okay, ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, and with that, can I get a motion to approve the order of the agenda?
Motion.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Can I ask who the second was?
I did.
Okay, thank you.
And with that, we'll move on to blue folder items, and I don't think we have any.
That's correct. We don't have any this evening.
All right, so do I need a formal vote to move on, or do I need a motion to move on from that, or do we just?
No, we just move on to the next item.
Okay, so then we'll move on to the consent calendar. And so do the affidavit of post.
For the consent calendar, you can approve all of the items at once, or you can pull one if anyone has any questions or discussion. So, or we can take a motion to approve all the items on the consent calendar.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve all the items?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. Okay. And then, is there any public participation on the non-agenda items?
We can see if there's anyone in the audience that wants to speak. Okay, do we have anyone online? Okay, so we can move on to item H, or excuse me, item I.
Okay, so first on item I is discussion and possible action regarding the development of a prioritized list of the projects throughout the next year, so.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and kick this one off. I do have a presentation that hopefully will walk us through the discussion, so bear with me on the front end. And then as we walk through and kind of talk through this item, I'll be typing as you guys give me items. So yeah, we'll get it up for you in just a moment.
Okay. So.
There it is. Okay, thank you. Okay. So, thank you. So as you remember, this is an item that you all briefly discussed at the last meeting. It was presented as an introductory item. And so I'm just going to lay some groundwork here, and then we'll get into kind of the nuts and bolts of the item. But annually, the commission considers what projects or goals it would like to focus on. And this will be throughout the next year. However, I do just want to preface that if the commission has items that are more long-term, 2, 3, 4, even 5 years long, please know that those are not precluded from being on this goal chart. We can still include it, but just know that annually, that whatever sitting commission will be reviewing all of those projects, and they may at any point say, this is no longer a priority for us. But that doesn't mean that we can't always include it. They may see it as a huge benefit for 10 years, depending on what the project is. So just know that while the focus of tonight is really the core of what you guys are going to be working on throughout the next year, because some of your terms will be up in a year, we can look at longer term projects. And so as I stated, this item was introduced to the commission at last month's meeting, and you guys were given feedback from last year's commission on some of its subcommittees, as well as newer trending topics for consideration. And for tonight, you can look beyond anything that was shared in the report. So if there's other items, other topic areas, other areas of concern that you would like to include on this list, please feel free. And I just want to just really stress that this is a really critical, what you do tonight is a really critical work that is going to help guide and inform our future discussions together and the productivity of the commission. So please don't be shy. Share all of your ideas. They're all worthy of discussion, and we will prioritize them. So just know that whatever is discussed tonight will be on a master list, and then as we get through and check things off the list, we can always pull from additional items. So I just want to let you all know that this is really important that we do this tonight, and so really hopeful that you guys will be open to having that discussion and just sharing all of your thoughts and ideas. Last year, I was blown away by the discussion during this, and I'm sure it's going to be the same this year. So I'm not going to go through all of this. This was what was presented last month. This is just a very high-level overview of the 3 active subcommittees that the commission had at the end of last term. It was the Substance Abuse Subcommittee, Communications Subcommittee, and the Teen Center and Events Subcommittee. The gray section was essentially the task the subcommittee was assigned to, and then the lower row is the feedback that those subcommittees provided to you all. So as you sit here tonight to develop your program list and goals for the next year or so, this is their input for you to consider. It's truly for your consideration. You are not required to continue these subcommittees. You can continue them, you can pause them, we can do whatever you'd like to do tonight, but this is just the input that was received from last year's subcommittees, or excuse me, last year's commission. In addition to the subcommittee work, these were the additional topics that were provided for your consideration. These were also included in last month's report as well as this year's report. Again, I won't go through each one of these individually. We certainly can as we go through the discussion. We can always go back to this slide as well if you would like to look at it. But before we continue moving too far into the presentation, I just want to let you know too that especially for those returning commissioners, I highly suggest that we don't rely so heavily on subcommittee work this year. I think having more open conversations with the commission will likely be more of a productive conversation and really get some forward movement on projects. So for example, for these 4 topics here, I could easily see each one of these just being assigned a future agenda topic. It doesn't necessarily need to be a big project goal, but these are just things that you would like us to consider as we are developing the agendas every month, that these would be items that when possible, to put on the agenda. So it's a little bit of a different way of thinking that for those that were on last year's commission. So, and again, I'll talk through, I kind of changed some of our tables here as we move forward as developing this, and you'll see, hopefully I've split it up enough so you can see what should be considered a project versus a discussion item versus a subcommittee. So for just a very high level lesson on what subcommittees are. I don't remember if we went too detailed on this last month, so just want to make sure you all understand. Subcommittees are a really valuable tool if used correctly for commissions and elected bodies. So our city council has subcommittees, all of our city commissions are eligible for subcommittees, and essentially is what it is a non-Brown Act body. So for those of you that were part of our orientation or who were part of this commission last year, you know that the Brown Act dictates how we can have our meetings. They have to be public, they have to be noticed, they have to have a formal agenda, formal minutes, the public has to be able to speak, all of that. Subcommittees, as long as the subcommittee includes less than a quorum, so less than a majority. So for this commission, we have 15 members. Subcommittees, as long as they consist of 7 or less commissioners, do not have to follow the Brown Act guidelines, which means you can develop a subcommittee, has to be created for a specific task, but they can meet at any time. It could be 2 subcommittee members, it could be all 7 of them. You could even have 2 subcommittee members on the entire subcommittee. You do not have to have 7. It just gives you a little more flexibility so that outside of the meetings, you can do some really actionable work. The subcommittees then present their work to the commission, and when they're ready to make a recommendation to the commission, we would agendize that, and the commission could review that and forward that recommendation along to city council or whomever that recommendation is directed to. This, like I said, is a really valuable tool, and I don't want us to shy away from creating subcommittees or continuing some of our active subcommittees. But I do think that as we move forward with really getting this commission to be very productive, I think subcommittees, we may just want to be a little bit more selective on how we want to use them. So, and I'll certainly provide my opinion on whether certain topics, as we kind of talk through our priority list, maybe well suited for a subcommittee or discussion item, and you guys can consider that at that time. But I just wanted to make sure you all knew what a subcommittee meant. The final thing I want to say about subcommittees is that, like I said, they meet at any time. Staff is also not required to be part of these. So it could just be two of you guys texting one day and saying, hey, what do you think about this idea? What do you think about this? That is considered subcommittee work. Staff does not have to be part of it. We are happy to be part of it, happy to be part of every meeting, but it's not required. So again, subcommittees can be really helpful to really get down to the nitty-gritty and kind of remove some of the constraints that these formal meetings have on discussions. So for tonight, and we can reference this slide again, I'm really asking you all to do three things. One is to determine a prioritized list of projects and critical focus areas for the 25-26 term. The second is to determine which items should be discussion item on future agendas. And that's where I was, that one slide of the extra items. As we go through our priority list, we can start identifying which ones you just want us to agendize, and those we will take care of. You don't have to do any work on that. And then three is to consider subcommittees. Do you want to continue the active subcommittees that are currently part of the commission? Do you want to develop new ones? Do you want to pause the ones we have, or do you want to disband them altogether? And so we'll talk through each one of these individually. And as we go through this, just know that I'm going to be typing, so please excuse any typos. I'm going to try and do it as quick as I can. But if there's any questions or concerns, even with the way that we're doing it, please let me know. I want to make sure this is really helpful for you guys, because this, like I said, this is a really important tool, mainly probably for us as staff, to make sure that we're helping you guys in your agenda preparation, in our reports to you. We want to make sure that we're giving you the information and the tools you need to make the decisions and recommendations that you are going to be making. So this is probably our biggest task tonight, is to develop our project list. So what I would like to do is start, actually, let me close out of this. I'm going to have to do it in this kind of a view. I apologize. Let me go back. So we're going to develop our project list and goals, and this is just where you can throw out anything. You want to talk about peer activations, Teen Center. I did add in gray text here the Teen Center and Communications, social media. These are two of our three existing subcommittees. I do see value in continuing these as a consideration for you. Again, you certainly don't have to, but as staff, these two are probably the two most helpful for us at the moment. But if you guys choose not to do a subcommittee, we can remove them from our list, and we can figure out a better way to make this work get completed. So you let me know if you want me to remove either of these, and then we can just move on from these and start adding to your list. So Chair, I'll turn it over to you, however you want to organize this, but as I hear different projects and goals, I can just add them onto here, and we can go from there. And then from here, we'll move over and actually prioritize this list. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So does anyone really have any projects or goals that they want try to prioritize this year? We could just go down like that, or you guys can just say it.
I actually have a question. I saw one of the things on the previous slide was about the 2028 Olympics. What would the Youth Commission actually do in regards to that?
So I think where that idea first came from is when the Olympics were here or in LA in the 80s, it sounds like there was a special city flag that was made for the Olympics and it was sold. So it was like an extra marketing piece. It was kind of a cool memento item. The commission could help design what that flag would look like. Or I think Council Member Kalujetovich, when she was here, mentioned that at that time the city also had an official city bird, which was the Goodyear blimp. So it could be it would just be providing input for that. It also could be if you guys have ideas of things that the city could do to celebrate the Olympics in some way. So it's really just up to you, however you want to do it. But that was kind of where that initial thought came from.
Okay. So do any of the rest of you guys have any else you want to like add to this?
Okay, so I guess I'll start. This is a little bit like, I would say a little bit complicated, but a previous goal on the communication subcommittee was to highlight like local businesses and different, startups that like would perhaps need attention where they otherwise couldn't. So I would say for the teen center, if it's like a public space for people to like hang out and things like that, and kids and teens congregate there, perhaps we have local businesses set up like a small stands inside the teen center and maybe perhaps sell things. I'm not sure if that's like allowed or like goes by city standards, but yeah, like have local businesses be spotlighted on certain days in the teen center, to like build a following for these small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have any small businesses in mind yet, but that's something we could work on.
Okay, so teen center small business activation.
I wanted to add on to that. I like that idea of like having small businesses sell their products. But what if rather than small businesses, we have teens from high schools and from middle schools actually sell their products? Like, for example, I go to RUHS and we have that, but it's once a year. Maybe they want to sell even more stuff. We can maybe add an event every year or every semester, every month for the teen center.
And you're referencing the Seahawk Marketplace? Is that what you're referencing?
Yes, that one.
Okay, yeah. So like maybe like a large event, sort of similar to the Seahawk Marketplace.
Okay. And then like I wanted to like make sure that we have that, like we like prioritize just like teen center and having like that communication social media subcommittee again. Like,
So-
or like into the desired, sorry.
Sure. So for these two,
Like be
you
like,
want them to
like-
to remain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we'll make sure they stay on here, at least for the discussion, and we'll see where it goes. Okay.
Do any of the rest of you guys like have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I can add to the discussion. Something that I noticed on the calendar, at least, is that we have a lot of our events during the week, and they all look like really fun events, like the 3v3 basketball game. But I think maybe it's possible we could do any weekend events, or it doesn't have to be like every other month. I mean, every other day, but more bi-monthly or days on the weekend in which our community can also get involved as well.
I also wanted to like make mention of like maybe like improving e-bike safety, or not just e-bike safety, but like bike safety in general, because I know like that's a big way teens get to school or just get around. And right now there's like kind of bike paths in some places. So just not only improving bike paths, but also like safety with like damaging of property at school. I know like there's been an issue with I guess e-bikes being vandalized. So I think just like focusing on safety in general surrounding e-bikes would be a pretty big goal.
I also agree with that. I'm on a different council. It's like an issue that's brought up a lot from students. And I also think in relation to the communications stuff we have, there was like, again, on the previous slides, it was talking about like redoing the website or like making it more youth accessible. And I think that's also something we could kind of like add into that. Like, I guess if it's a subcommittee, then like add into that their priorities.
I think we should also do a website refresh for Beach Cities Transit. It's not very accurate, and it's also outdated.
Okay.
I'm going off of something like I think I saw on an earlier slide, but I think like I saw something on revamping like the pier and adding more events or like programs for teens at the pier. I think that'd be really cool just because the pier is a little bit outdated and there's not a ton to do there. So that could maybe connect to the teen center. Maybe the teen center could have like events out of the teen center, like around town, just to get kids like out more.
Going back to like the teen center stuff, if we're having like entrepreneur events, which I think is a very good idea, maybe we should also have like charity or fundraiser events too. Then we could get people to like help people who need the help.
I also want to talk about the communications. Maybe they could connect with the Teen Center Subcommittee as communications. They could talk to Redondo Union High School, like RUTV, and also the High Tide newspaper, because I went to the Teen Center and I noticed they're mostly middle schoolers, not that many high schoolers. So I feel like there should be more of an outreach for the high schoolers. And yeah, so maybe the communications could talk to people in Redondo Union that has the ability to put it in RUTV or in High Tide.
I think adding on to that, I know how you said the High Tide and RUTV. I think it would also be of interest to talk to Mr. Brown directly himself, because he sends out an email like every morning, like to the daily announcements, and it would be helpful, you know, to like put Teen Center announcements in there as well.
Yeah, and I'm one of the editors for the High Tide, and we typically have like full page ads for like Alcove or other programs that like the city offers, so we could definitely work on doing that.
And also maybe to make the Teen Center more homey, I feel like we should add like paintings from teens themselves around the walls, as of what Alcove does. They have a sign-up sheet where teens could sign up and present what they want to present in the area, and we can maybe have something like that for the Teen Center.
I think for the Teen Center, if we're like going to be outreaching to the Redondo Union, maybe we should try to see if there are ways to outreach to like the people who are like high school age, but they don't go to Redondo Union. Because I know there are some people who live in like Redondo Beach, but they go to like Miracosta, or there might be people who are like homeschooled. So, because Redondo Union is not like from our city is not the only like high school. Some people go other things.
Okay, great. If you guys don't have too much else to add to the desired projects and goals, do we want to try to move some stuff to prioritize projects and goals, right?
Yeah, what I'm wondering, if you could bear with me for just a second, I think to simplify this, sorry, I'm having trouble seeing all the buttons on here because it's so small. Let's see, and then this one. So there was a few items here that were teen center focused, that what you could do is basically assign for consideration for the teen center subcommittee to consider how these things could function and work at the teen center. Instead of you all saying, let's plan a fundraiser, let's do all of this at the teen center. If you would like, unless some of these you want to pull out, you know, for a specific discussion, you may want to consider just lumping all of these and assigning to the teen center subcommittee. And then for the better connectivity with RUHS as well as the school paper, we can connect and assign to the communications social media subcommittee. And again, these are just my suggestions. Please, if you don't like them or want to reorganize this in any way, please let me know. And then I think the rest of them are kind of standalone items. So, oh, that's a good idea. The website, yeah, we can move this to the communications subcommittee as well, because communications deals with all social media.
The teen center peer events would all fall under teen centers.
Well, this one is, I just want to make sure I understand. This one is to do more teen events and things at the pier itself, right? So for this one, Michelle has a really good point. The Teen Center Subcommittee is the Teen Center and Events, I believe is their name. It's the Teen Center and Events Subcommittee. So if you would like to reassign this to the Teen Center and Events Subcommittee, or if you want that to be its own standalone item, you just let me know how you want to move that one.
I think that could be part of like teen center and
Okay.
events. Okay, if you guys are all good with desired projects and goals, like I think we can move on to prioritize, right?
Sure. Yeah, we can prioritize these.
Okay, so do you guys have anything that like you from this list particularly that you guys want to prioritize?
I think we should really prioritize the social media and communications stuff, just because I think all the stuff we have for the teen center is really great, but our biggest barrier is just going to be getting people to actually show up. And I think that the best way to advertise it is through social media. So if we can really ramp that up, I think that'd be a great accomplishment.
Yeah, just adding on to that. I think, yeah, the teen center ideas are very like great, but I think we should leave those as like long-term goals, like something like that's gradual. And adding on to that, I think the e-bike safety and vandalism should definitely be a prioritized goal, because it's something that it's like a problem now, so we need to address it like as soon as possible. So definitely that should be prioritized.
Should that be 1 or 2? Sorry, these should be numbered here.
I would put that at 1, but it's up to everyone else.
No, I agree. It should be the e-bike thing. It should be at 1 because like that is an actual like can be if e-bike concerns are not addressed, that can be an actual safety issue because people like ride those things in like roads and like all around Redondo Beach.
Okay, and then from me, I think the teen center stuff should definitely be prioritized, but with the stuff like underneath teen center should be like a recommendation for if we end up having that established as a subcommittee, like as a recommendation to that subcommittee or like further consideration.
Sure.
And also, just something to add too for the communications and social media part, I would also maybe try to get the word out about like this youth commission itself, because I think like not a lot of students know that this exists and that they can come and like propose their ideas if they have concerns too. So that could be another way to tie in like communication. And also to add on to the bike thing, I think we could also talk about like bike lanes as a part of e-bike safety, because I think it's possible to make bike lanes, and I think that would kind of take a lot of I think that would be a really good solution, but people just haven't done that yet, so that's something to talk about.
I also feel like, to add on to communications, definitely like having an outreach on other platforms besides Instagram. I don't know if we have like a TikTok, but I feel like that could be helpful, specifically if we had like high schoolers in it, because it could be like, oh, like you see your friends and it could like, you could like ask them what it is and they could tell you and it could just like spread the word faster.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I also think that for the teen center, I didn't to add on to this with the desired projects, but I was thinking maybe transportation can be a prioritized goal for the teen center, as only Adams Middle School is the closest to the teen center, which like lets out Paris and Redondo Union High School. Maybe there could be bus routes going to the teen center after school.
The bus stops, I believe, 1 block away from the teen center, so it is easily accessible if you're riding the bus home from RUHS.
Yeah, and I will tell you too, our Beach Cities Transit team is already looking at that for sure. I think they're making some headway and trying to figure out how best to get you guys to the teen center if you need to ride that. So I think that's already being taken care of. It just hasn't been completed yet, but yeah, it's a great idea.
So I think under e-bike safety and vandalism, there comes the topic of like theft, because I know a couple people who've had their, let's say, like their brakes stolen or their battery stolen, or perhaps even the entire bike stolen. So I would say at the addition of more e-bike parking areas, and secure places like the one at RUHS near the office where they have like an enclosed fence, perhaps more just like safer areas to park their e-bikes.
Okay.
Whoa, sorry. Sorry. Adding on to like e-bike safety and like lanes, I know there's like the North Redondo bike path, which goes from like like, yeah, North Redondo area to Adams. And I know it's like getting continued, but I think if we had like a direct bike path to Redondo Union as well, like that would be really beneficial because so many kids' modes of transportation to school is through bikes.
I also think if we're on the topic of bike paths, like the bike paths now are kind of just like painted lines on the road. I think, like, I know there's like more, it might be like a little bit excessive, but like protected bike lanes just to like, instead of something like a physical barrier, you know, not just paint on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So how are we feeling about this list? We have 3 main goals, 3 main focus areas. I should have also said too, one of the things that we will be doing this year, it's a goal of mine, we'll see how it kind of pans out, but to as often as possible, have a representative from each of our different city departments come and just give you a presentation, quick 5 minutes, this is what our department does, this is my role in the department, and it provides you an opportunity to give them feedback on their subject matter area. So for example, hopefully when the waterfront director can come and speak, that's an opportunity because his department oversees all the leases in the pier. You can have that direct communication to say, hey, we really want more teen-focused activations down there, businesses, these are some of our ideas for that, and he can take that back. So when him and his team are negotiating and looking at potential vendors. So some of these may just kind of naturally happen through those discussions. For the e-bike, I have already connected with our police department, so they will be having a representative come, I believe, at our January meeting to speak specifically on e-bikes. You guys are going a little bit deeper here, though, and talking about actual infrastructure, the bike lanes, the bike paths, and all of that, which is excellent. It's great. And so that's more of a public works conversation. So I think there's different ways we can kind of tackle this, but having these 3 main goals, I think this is a really great list, and I think it's realistic. I think it's all items and things that we continue to hear are concerns. And so just want to make sure that you guys are okay with this list before we move on, kind of reorganizing it a little bit further to figure out how we want to tackle this.
Sorry, I do have one more thing.
Sure.
I'm not sure if you know this, but there is like an e-bike safety test that's issued by the city.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering, is it a mandatory test to take?
I think it's just if you're part of RBUSD. It's like an
Okay.
RBUSD mandated thing. It's
Actually, I think they have it at MBUSD too. Like if you want to park your bike in school grounds, you have to take a test.
yeah, but it's not like a city mandated thing. It's like a district.
Oh, it's okay. District mandate thing.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. Maybe this may be like a stretch or something that is hard to obtain, but a test for e-bikers and maybe a limit of how young you can have an e-bike, because all of the e-bike safety starts from the main cause of reckless driving. And as like an e-biker myself, I see a lot of reckless e-bikers. And even if we have all these bike lanes and all these safety laws, there will still be people that don't use them or use them unlawfully. And I feel like that's the biggest thing we should address before we go into infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
I also just want to say your idea of having like people from different departments, I think that's a really good idea. And also like, especially the waterfront development, I think that could be a huge place where like the youth commission can do work in.
Yeah, so my question about that is like, does that go like inside of our prioritized projects and goals, or is that just like a thing?
Well, it can. It certainly can, because then we just check it off that, you made that connection. As you guys have been speaking, my mind's been kind of spinning of, you have ultimately one main goal here, which is bike and e-bike safety. And then you have 2 subcommittees that you want to continue the work. So the subcommittees are going to kind of do their own thing and obviously come back to the commission when they're ready to share updates. But if the commission would like to, we could really focus on this e-bike and bike safety and really make this a really big recommendation to the city council. We can do the research, we can do an analysis of costs for, improved bike lanes, whatever it may be, so that you can put a good big, really by the end of this year, send a package recommendation to the city council to say, these are the actionable items we would like to make for bike and e-bike safety. I think that alone would be a really big goal that you guys could really accomplish and do really well. The other ones, like I said, I think the subcommittee will just do on their own and then obviously come to you again as needed. But I think focusing just on the e-bike and then the sprinkles of the department directors coming in and speaking to you, I think this is a really good list, and I think you're going to be able to get a lot done from it.
So all that e-bike safety stuff, that would be more like a discussion among like.
It would be a discussion. So let's just say this was your final list for tonight. This was your main goals. Like I said, the two subcommittees, we would organize and help them outside of the meeting. What I would probably do is our next meeting, bring to you guys just a very high level, this is currently what the city does with e-bikes. These are the current municipal codes associated with it. This is what police department enforcement looks like. And then from there, you could tell me what direction you want to go with it. Do you want to focus on bike lanes? Do you want to focus on the vandalism and theft? Do you want to focus on whatever component of it? And we'll just continue to build on it. So then the following month, we will provide you with a report that has all of that information of whatever that specified topic is in there. So we will just continue to build on it. So it may be a 5 to 6 month discussion, really. But every month will be a little bit more specific, and we can invite police department here to add more kind of color to the stories and all of that. So it'll be a built upon discussion as we move forward.
Great.
Okay, so if we are good with this list, let me just make sure. Okay, I'm just gonna move this over. Sorry, I wish there was a more intuitive way to do this.
Can I just ask, are these projects and goals like for the whole year, or are we allowed to like add to them as we go?
We can add as we go. Okay. So, and I actually was thinking about that when I was speaking. I forgot to mention it. So let's say we go through and you guys say, you know what, we really want to keep talking about e-bike vandalism, but we really want to have someone focus on the bike lanes specifically around RUHS. You can create at any point throughout the year either a subcommittee to focus on that and come back to you with more detailed information, or you could say, hey, at next month's meeting, in addition to talking about X, Y, and Z with e-bikes, we really would like a report about this specific thing. So yeah, this is very flexible. It can change from month to month, but at least you have a direction to talk through. Okay, so from here, if I'm following your discussion correctly, and again, please correct me if I'm wrong, these bottom two will become your two subcommittees. And then this top one will just continue to be one of our discussion items as we go through each month, and we'll just continue to build upon it. These won't quite fit in here, so I don't want to, the formatting will be funny, but if that makes sense, and if that's what you guys want to move forward with, we good with that? Okay. So I'll clean this up and resend it to you guys. But then for the subcommittees, just want to make sure so we will only have the two subcommittees, the Communications and Teen Center and Events. The focus of the subcommittee let's go back really quickly. For the communications, what I want to do is make sure that this task, which is essentially the task that was assigned to them, if you want to make any changes to this today, we need to do that, and then we'll need to select our commissioners to serve on this. So let's start with our communications subcommittee. So the task for that was to create a general Teens in Redondo Beach social media account utilizing Instagram. That has already been accomplished, so we probably could remove that if you guys would like to. Determine the focus of future posts, including strategies and frequency. Consider alternate means of communication when necessary, while keeping in mind the creation of a one-stop shop resource for teen-related information that ensures accessibility. This could also be super general and just say something like, consider ways to enhance communications with the Redondo Beach teens. And then, because all of these things here that you're adding are basically just tasks that you're asking them to look at specifically. So these do not have to specifically be in the assigned task. So it's up to you. We can either make changes to this, we could make it super general, you let me know, and we'll draft this tonight if we can.
For communications, I think it can be like generally like a little bit vague just because like we have so many of these like consider this, like I think that its focus can be more broad.
Yeah, I think maybe one of the main ones is just a bigger outreach. We want teens, especially in Redondo Beach, to know that there is a youth commission that is here to listen to what their issues are and here to help as much as possible.
Yeah, I think to kind of add on, I think also including more platforms. We achieved Instagram last year, but I think there's such a wide variety of platforms we can use to really get our message across.
Okay. And I'll reword these so it's a little bit clearer sentences, but this is helpful just to get the meat into the description here.
I also want to focus on updating the BCT app because it is, again, heavily outdated.
The city website and the BCT.
Yeah.
I think it was also good last year when we had the Google form, so maybe sending out another one and seeing what other issues are present like this year.
Yeah, I was thinking something along those lines, and maybe also word of mouth. Maybe people on the communications committee can just act as a representative like when they're at their school and just like talk maybe in their classes about the work they do here and then have people talk back.
On the topic of word of mouth, actually, I think the creation of like flyers and things like that, perhaps having the link to like the Google form on it, or just like a flyer to incorporate the message that the youth commission wants to bring, and make a reality.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
I thought we're trying to make the focus more vague. Shouldn't we have like a vague main important idea we want to do and have like bullet points of what we should be doing for that? Like I feel like almost everything we said is for larger outreach. So I feel like we should just have that and then bullet points of all those other ideas we added on.
Sure. So what I can do is, if you all are in favor of making this vague, but then add the detail in the bullet points, I can draft that and I'll have you all review that for next month, just to make sure, because I don't want to put words in your mouth by any means, but I don't know tonight I don't know that you guys will want to sit here and wordsmith it completely, but I can try and draft that if that's how the direction you want to go with that.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I can use this details here as well as the information here, and I'll see if I can figure out a way to generalize it enough, but also provide enough detail to specify. Okay, so for communications, sorry, I can barely see the lines here. We can have up to 7 commissioners serve on this. Is there any volunteers to serve on?
I wouldn't mind serving on the subcommittee. I'm also on ASB, so we do a lot on communications. We actually write those morning announcements you're talking about, so I would really be honored to be on there.
Great.
I'd also like to volunteer myself to be a part of it.
Okay.
Me too.
I would also like to volunteer.
I would also like to volunteer.
Okay, hold on just a second. Sorry, my fingers were in the wrong spot. And then, Baran, was that you?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we have room for one more if anyone else.
I'll join.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, so then our other subcommittee is the Teen Center and Events. Let me just pull up really quickly. The previous description was provide guidance to staff on the reopening of the Perry Park Teen Center, which has been completed, so we can remove that, and provide ongoing support for teen programs, services, and events held throughout the city. It could simply just be this, provide ongoing support for teen programs, with obviously the addition of the input you all provided tonight. It's up to you.
Yeah, I think that it can just be like that last like provide and that stuff for like the overall, and then we can do the same thing with communications where like all of those other recommendations that we put in our prioritized list can be like bullet points.
Perfect.
Yeah, I agree. I think that line just like sums up what it's trying to do.
Okay. Okay. Do I have any volunteers for this subcommittee?
I would like to volunteer, please.
Yeah, I would like to volunteer as well.
I'd also like to volunteer.
I would also like to
Okay.
volunteer.
Hold on 1 second. Sorry. Commissioner Chabot, you volunteered? Okay. Who else did I miss?
I would also like to volunteer.
I would also.
Who was that last one?
Me.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay. Did I miss anyone? Sorry, I haven't learned everyone's voices just yet, so. We have room for one more. If anyone else, we do not need to fill it, but anyone else interested? And you could always add yourself throughout the year too. Next month, you could have a great idea and want to add yourself in. Or at some point too, if you feel that you are overloaded and you just need to remove something off of your plate, you can always remove yourself from a subcommittee at any point. So it does have to be at a commission meeting, but you just let me know. Okay, so we have 2 of our subcommittees will continue the communications and teen center events. We have our commissioners that will be serving on both of them. And this actually completes the item. So I will need to have a motion. If it's easier, I can try and say it, and then someone can just say so moved if it's correct. If it's not, I don't know if someone else wants to take a stab at it. You let me know. It's a bit of a multi-part motion here.
Do you just want to like say the whole thing and then someone can say so move?
Okay, so for the motion, just to make it super simple, we'll move to create continue the communications and teen center and events subcommittees with the commissioners that volunteered and are listed on the screen. And then secondly, to develop or create the bike and e-bike safety as a main goal for the commission moving forward.
So moved.
Okay.
Second, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And then all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I just had to print my notes. Okay.
Okay.
We did it. That's a big item. That you guys did great. I appreciate all of the feedback, all of the ideas. I'm excited for all the work we're going to do this year. So that concludes that item in the report. I'll hand this back over. Thank you.
Great. So with that, let's move on to item J1. So that's discussion possible cancellation, rescheduling of the January 1st meeting?
Yes.
Right,
So looking ahead, the January meeting, as you know, our meetings are the first Thursday of every month. The January meeting would fall on January 1st, which is a city holiday. Our offices are closed, and I know the school is also closed on that day as well. So we really try to schedule our meetings on days where you are not on vacation from the school schedule. So we can do a few things here. We can either cancel the meeting altogether, it's up to you, or we could reschedule it. The dates that are available in this council chambers are Monday, January 5th, or Wednesday, January 7th. So it's up to the commission how you would like to do this. Like I said earlier, with the Brown Act, we do have to have a quorum. So if we do reschedule, if some of you cannot make it, as long as we have a quorum, we can still hold the meeting on that date. So I will turn it back over to you if you have any questions.
Is January the month when the police department is going to come speak?
That's the tentative date for that meeting.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's flexible. We can always move on to February or another month if necessary.
Okay, so what I'm thinking is that someone can say one date, but if someone else would rather it be another date, then they can do a substitute motion, and then we could vote regarding those. So does anyone want to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll motion to move the meeting date to January 7th, if that works for everyone.
Second.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
I realized we didn't do public comment. on the last item. I just want to make sure, do we have anyone online just yet? And then no one in the audience? Okay. Thank you. Just for the record, I just wanted to state that.
Okay. Do we need public comment on this item as well?
No, I just did it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
No, that's okay. Sorry, I think I confused myself as well.
Okay. So then with that, we'll move on to item J2, right? But
Okay.
I don't think there's
no formal report. These are just our verbal reports for you. So nothing really actionable to provide for you this evening. I did just want to know, we did provide the November Teen Center schedule. I know a few of you referenced it. That's really just for you to see kind of the activities and events that we have going on at the Teen Center. We are always open to new ideas. I know Vice Chair Ram Sharan, I believe, was the one who connected us with the potential film screening, or film activities in the building. We are open to all ideas, so please let us know. But we just wanted to provide that for you. The Teen Center has officially only been open just a few months, so we do continue to build out the calendar, build out the activities that the teens want to come to. And so, so again, just provide that as an FYI for you this evening. And we will connect with our subcommittees within the next month or so to kind of get that restarted. I mention that only because we really do need some support from the subcommittee on our social media posts. So we want to make sure that that stays fresh, it stays live, it stays at the top of everyone's feed. So, so we'll connect with the subcommittee on that so we can promote the events that are at the Teen Center. So that concludes my report for that. Thank you.
great. Okay. So then with that, we'll move on to item K, so commissioner member items and future commission agenda topics. So if anyone wanted to bring up any items or anything here. Nope. Okay. Do I need like a motion or anything to like move past that, or?
No, we can move on to the next item.
Okay, so then, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Great. Okay, thank you.